Jim, a lot of
Yes.
a lot of people have
Yes.
a lot of people have been sending in
Yes.
wanting to know what your thoughts are on the latest PWI 500.
Well, I don't know what my thoughts are because I don't know who's on it.
In general, what are your thoughts before we get to the 2023 version? What are your thoughts on the idea of a PWI 500, a list of the greatest wrestlers in the world ranked?
Well, I think we talk about this every year when they do this thing. And basically, it's a list that they believe that the majority of the fans that buy their magazine will like, because it features heavily the favorite wrestlers that they see on television on the big shows, and then they sprinkle in the independent and or smaller promotion talent so as not to offend anybody and get kicked out of covering those people's events, and they sprinkle in the international talent. And by the time these days, by the time you get past, I don't even know anymore, but by the time you get past the first 25%, then it's a goddamn federal witness protection program list of names, isn't it? And I mean, it's a marketing thing, but legitimately, as we see every year, if they're ranking in terms of who the biggest box office attractions are, then it would be all WWE talent 7 out of 10, with the top AEW guys rounding out the top 10. If they're going by talent in the ring, probably half the fucking top 20 or 25 they come up with wouldn't be on the list at all because they're the shits, but they're featured in some fashion. I don't know what criteria they're the greatest, so that's it. If you're going on box office draw, you have to go primarily with the top 2 companies, and they have to put some other people in just to satisfy political obligations. If you're going for talent in the ring, you wouldn't come up with 500. And like I said, most of the people probably in their top 10 wouldn't be on it. So I don't know what they're fucking doing or grading by. And also, it's a fan list. They're selling magazines. They're not going to put, fucking Braun Breaker on the cover when they can put Seth Rollins or whoever the fuck.
Well, PWI has had some interesting cover picks in the last few years, but let's get to the PWI.
Well, I mean, for the 500 list. I'm not saying Braun will never be on any magazine cover. I'm saying if they're going for who's the big star that can sell magazine. They've been doing that since Bill was there after in 72. Who's going to sell, magazines if I put their picture on the cover?
And it turned out the answer were 2 women in bikinis fighting in an apartment. But let's get to the PWI 500.
That was Stanley Weston. That was his fault.
I understand Apter was the trainer for those women.
Well, because he was the only one that was local, could drive and do it.
He was begging all the women to let him put them in a figure 4, from what I understand.
Most of them couldn't get out.
Well, here is the 2023 PWI 500 list.
Now, wait, you're not going to read this whole goddamn thing.
Come on, we got time.
No, we don't.
Well, we're going to go through some of them and get your thoughts.
I'm not going to live long enough, but are we doing a top 20 here, or what are we doing?
Let's at least go through 10 and see how it goes from there.
Oh, okay.
Number 1, Riho.
Oh, stop it.
Okay, fine. Even you realize that was ridiculous. I thought you would react somehow, but number 1 on the list.
Farther than number 3.
Number 1 on the list, Seth Rollins.
Okay, well, all right, there you go. I mean, again, by what criteria? He's more regular now, and he's the world champion that actually works. Roman Reigns is still the box office draw, but he's not the worker Seth Rollins is. And, what about Brock? So, but that's not an outrageous choice.
Number 2, Roman Reigns.
Okay, well, there you go. And that's not outrageous because he is the biggest box office draw per appearance, probably, along with Brock, who's got to still be in there somewhere unless they consider him inactive.
Number 3, Jon Moxley.
Oh, boy. Okay. So they had
the Shield. 1, 2, 3.
Well, and you know what? Are there all three of their pictures are on the cover, right?
I believe so, but I don't have it.
Well, you
yes,
don't
they
have the
are.
magazine.
Yes, they are.
Okay,
I have
well,
it
there
right
you
here. Yes, I do.
Okay, then they say, oh, we'll put the Shield back together and we'll make Tony Khan happy because his guy gets number 3 and we can sell magazines. But yeah, except for Chris Jericho, he's the name now on the AEW roster that's had the most exposure. But again, if you're looking for quality of performance or professionalism in any way, this guy's a fucking waste of flesh. So that's marketing right there.
Number 4, Gunther.
And now they slip in another WWE guy that they don't really want to put on the cover because they're not probably going to be pinning pictures of Gunther up on their walls, but he's the Intercontinental Champion, the record holder now. They've got big plans for him in the office, so there you go.
At number 5, El Hijo del Vikingo.
Okay. Explain that one to me, Lucy.
He is currently one of the biggest stars in AAA in the Lucha Libre world, and he also
How many magazines do they sell in Mexico?
I don't know about PWI, but in terms of wrestling magazines, it may actually sell more there than anywhere other than Japan.
Well, no, that's what how many magazines of this magazine do they sell in Mexico? And how many people walking past a goddamn drugstore newsstand or whatever in Poughkeepsie are going to have a fucking clue who Vikingo is?
I don't know about Poughkeepsie, maybe White Plains, but number 6, MJF.
Okay. They're trying to make Tony happy, but they put this fucking clown wearing Quetzalcoatl's fucking wedding dress on top of MJF, who's the hottest talent currently in the company. Jesus H. Christ.
And the world champion. Number 7, Kazuchika Okada.
I guess we have come to the point where the average fan that still buys the magazine watches Japanese wrestling with regularity, and they feel the need to do that.
Well, he is an excellent wrestler. I guess the question would be, is this the year for him to be that high? We shall see. Number 8.
Well, and also, again, there are more people, I would imagine, watching Impact on television in North America than watching New Japan Pro Wrestling at this point, aren't there?
I believe so. And that's a very small number in and of itself, the Impact audience.
So where's Impact love?
Bad management at Impact.
Where is any love for somebody that people may be watching on television in this country where they're selling this magazine?
Well,
but
that's
they
next.
feel that to satisfy the fucking internet fan, they've got to, all right, go ahead.
You stopped me. Number 8, Orange Cassidy.
All right, so this is a complete rib now. We're not going for box office star power or in-ring talent. We're going for fucking going viral for being a goof.
Fonzie appeal is what
Fonzie appeal
is what we're going for. Number 9, Josh Alexander.
I would comment if I'd really ever seen anything that the feller has done.
Number 10, Cody Rhodes.
Okay. So the biggest babyface in the biggest company in the world makes number 10 below only Vikingo, Josh Alexander, and our little puppy Pockets.
It's an interesting list. I'll go through some other select ones real quick. Number 14, Samoa Joe. Number 16, Bryan Danielson. 17, Ospreay. 18, Alexander Hammerstone. There's a name we haven't heard in a while.
Because he's still with MLW. We don't hear about them.
21, Owens. 22, Zayn. 24, Jericho. 25, Omega. 26.
I thought he was last year. He was their darling, right? Wasn't it last year or two? He was number 1, the greatest wrestling artist of all time.
I guess it's about how many matches you wrestle. I mean, if it was based
no,
on...
it's how many people are fawning over you at the moment on the internet. Remember, Marco Stunt could have made the top 10 about 4 years ago before he faded into obscurity like we knew he would.
Well, we'll see if we can find him here.
Before he pulled that old Houdini like we always knew he would. It's a fine, fine day for a Marco Stunt reunion. That was an unheralded single.
Number 37, Braun Breaker. Number 38.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Braun Breaker shouldn't have the standing in the industry to be even 30 places away from fucking pockets, is what they're trying to tell us here. You got to be out of your fucking mind.
38, Solo Sikoa. 45, Austin Theory. 47, Wardlow. 49, Darby Allin. 50, Edge. Let's zoom a little bit further down. 57, Nick Aldis. 59, Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm looking for Marco Stunt now. It's such a broad one, but I can't find him.
Well, see how far you have to go down before you don't recognize 5 names in a row.
Okay, 5 in a row. 77, Eddie Kingston, then Tristan Archer, then Rocky Romero. Okay, so there's 2 out of... Frankie Kazarian, 91. I could still go there. Jay Lethal, 101.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Mustafa Ali, 108.
Somebody, you tell me that you're starting a wrestling promotion anywhere on earth, and you would rather have Viking-O and Pockets instead of Jay Lethal. You're a fucking moron.
Number 145, Mark Briscoe. Number 147, Nick Wayne. Number 149, Ricochet. Number 151, Ilya Dragunov.
Oh, Jesus.
Number 154, Brody King. Let me go down a little further here. Number 171, Bully Ray. Number 175, Nick Gage. 181, Dax Harwood.
It shouldn't there be... Wait, oh, Jesus Christ, I hadn't even realized. So Nick Gage is a better wrestling talent in any facet, in any category, in any genre than Dax Harwood.
He wins more matches.
Christ on a cracker.
Max Caster, 186. Matt Hardy, 193.
I think I'd rather have 100 through 200 on my roster instead of 1 through 20.
Well, we are now at 200. It'll be interesting. Let's see how many names we know here. 202, Davey Boy Smith Jr. 204, Eddie Edwards. 214, Christopher Daniels. 223, Colby Corino. 227, Johnny Gargano. 242, Tommaso Ciampa. 253, Dragon Lee. 259, the Ultimo Guerrero. Or excuse me, 259, not the. I was thinking it was going to be Ultimo Dragon, then I see Guerrero.
Ultimo Guerrero.
Ultimo Guerrero is what I meant. Kushida, 274. Zooming down now, let's get to the 400s. 381 is Hijo del Pirata Morgan. 383 is Hijo del Canis Lupus. I wasn't familiar with Canis Lupus.
I think they recently came up with a vaccine. And that's a thing of the past, I heard, the Canis Lupus.
453 Danhausen. Before him at 451 is Cheeseburger. This seems to be a lot of the one-named wrestlers here in the 400s. LSG, Shug D, Maggot, Tanali.
Maggot,
Milo, GPA, Facade, Bojack, Vixen, Kratos, Riho 402. Wait, there are women on this list? Where's Rhea Ripley? I thought it was just men.
It sounded like it was, but Riho's down there?
402.
So Rhea Ripley should be in Viking-O's spot at number 5.
At number 500, Andre Chase. So now he gets to take that onto the indies and have fun with it.
Yeah, well, at least that's something for him, but he's not as good as Maggot.
How do you introduce him? From parts unknown, obviously, right? Or does he have a location like from the sewer?
No, I think from your hot garbage can.
Your hot garbage can?
You ever leave some fucking food garbage out in your garbage can on a summer day, it gets about 110 degrees, and you look in there about a day or two later and there's things squirming around.
Would he be a good partner for an evil trash man?
No, I think they would be opponents because the trash man, the worst thing he wants is maggots. Because he's the one's got to fucking dump that shit and carry it to the dump. He doesn't want to fucking be driving around in a truck of maggots. So they're opponents. I think the maggots and the garbage men would be against each other.
Here he is, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. His opponent, Maggot.
Doesn't pass the name test, does it?
No, I don't think so. Well, that was the PWI 500.
Hey, here's the thing. They started doing that when there were 500 somewhat legitimate pro wrestlers in the United States or even the world, apparently. And the problem is there ain't no more. And instead of backing up and saying we're going to do a PWI 250 or whatever, and even then they're padding, they got to fill it out. It becomes they can sell. Think about it. The bottom 200 people, most of the time, they're just going to buy those magazines for themselves and their family because they're mentioned in it. And so they're going to sell more magazines by putting the people that nobody knows than they are if they just cut it down to 250 because there's not 500 real fucking known legitimate professional wrestlers in this goddamn business anymore, apparently.
Should AI wrestlers be included?
I don't care what goddamn company it is, AI wrestling, FU wrestling. No, would an AI, not until Ari and Nick and all of the Hollywood folks start doing that for the program. No, you shouldn't include artificial wrestlers.